So, Haunted Mansion. I was not expecting what I got here. This one surprised me. I'm just gonna say it straight up. This one really surprised me, and I think it will surprise you as well.
If we don't solve this mystery, we're stuck here for eternity.
So, The Haunted Mansion stars LaKeith Stanfield as Ben. He is an astrophysicist. He's created this camera that can see ghosts, more or less. And the movie actually starts out really heartfelt. He meets his wife. This is when they meet for the first time at a party. I think it's New Year's in New Orleans. And the movie is more or less kind of a love story while also dealing with grief and loss at the same time. And it has a very Pixar feel to it to a degree, that it's made for kids and adults at the same time. And I feel like live action Disney doesn't often capture the essence of that the way Pixar can so effortlessly in most cases. And this movie, to a degree, has that Pixar feel. One gripe I do have with some of the advertisements for this film is that they don't position LaKeith Stanfield like he is the main character, like he's the leading man of this film, and he is completely. This is his movie. While you do have Danny DeVito there, you have Owen Wilson there, you have Tiffany Haddish, you have Jamie Lee Curtis in there, Rosario Dawson. They are all side characters in comparison to LaKeith Stanfield here. And again, he carries a movie. Good or bad, it is his movie. But this film takes a lot of inspiration from the ride. What I do remember from the ride, I saw in this movie and it felt natural. It didn't feel like they were just trying to bring up some Easter eggs or just some, hey, look at this, remember this? Similar to the 2003 movie. That movie did a lot of, look at those singing heads. Look at, these ghosts here. They're from the ride. Ooh, that's cool. This movie actually incorporates it in a better way, maybe save for like one or two moments. But I felt like this movie was trying to take a Pirates of the Caribbean approach with the film and how they adapted the ride to the screen. Outside of LaKeith Stanfield and his role, everybody else's side character, they get little moments to shine. They get a couple of hero moments here and there, but they're not really that needed. Chase Dillon, who plays Travis, he is the son to Rosario Dawson's character.
Hey, I'm gonna light a vanilla candle, and it's gonna be a game changer.
He's the only other one that you may connect to because he does have kind of a little bit of an arc in this film compared to the other characters. So it's really Travis and Ben that get the most character moments in this movie that you actually connect to and feel. And that gets its own arc throughout the movie. So that part I did enjoy. Everybody else is just kind of there as filler and to be scared and or possessed by ghosts. And that's more or less how that goes. I think the least of the bunch will be Jamie Lee Curtis. She is pretty awful here. There's an accent she tries to do that's kind of southern, New Orleans drawl with her accent, and it's awful. It's really bad. Most of the time that she is on screen, she is just a head in a glass bowl. She plays Madame Leota, and if you remember, the ride, or even the 2003 version with Eddie Murphy, that was played by Jennifer Tilly there, and this one is just pretty bad. The CGI is cool, but she is her acting's horrible here. Tiffany Haddish also, she had a lot of moments here in this movie that, some moments that could have been funny. Maybe if they improv more, herself and even Owen Wilson, maybe even Danny DeVito, have them do a little more improv, it probably would have landed a little bit better. They have some funny moments in the movie. Overall, I will say that. There's even a laugh out loud moment from Danny DeVito in this one. At a moment that you would not expect a joke, he hits you with one and it's so funny. And that's probably one of the best jokes in the movie. But outside of that, a lot of it, in most cases, kind of fell a little flat, especially on like a second rewatch. I imagine that won't be as funny as watching it the first time. Sometimes you have to imagine you're with a crowd of people that sometimes affects your thoughts or your reactions to different things that happen in the movie. Then when you watch it by yourself, you're like, oh, this isn't as funny as I remember it. Maybe it was the crowd that was kind of helping it feel a little bit funnier. So I know that was happening to me in a few moments. So my second rewatch, when I watch this again, which will be on Disney Plus, and I'll get to that in a minute, I imagine won't be as funny, but I think it'll still be an exciting film to watch no matter what. The story itself here seemed to be more in line, as far as I can remember, with the ride at Disney World. The 2003 version, I think, took more inspiration from the Paris ride, if I'm saying that accurately, because it had the whole bride and the look-alike, wife for Alistair Crump.
This house has a bit of history to it. And this history haunts these walls.
She looks like Mom.
That's interesting.
And that movie is just so boring. It's an hour and 30 minutes and like nothing's really happening in the film. It's just throwing little Easter eggs and things at you. in your face, but it's just not a fun film, and it takes forever. It takes about 35 minutes to really get to the ghosts of the story. So you're just spending all this time with this family that's not really interesting. And Eddie Murphy was playing another dad who doesn't realize his family is the most important thing.
Is anybody here? We're the Evers from Evers and Evers Real Estate.
I had to watch it again after I watched this film because I had to remember, okay, how bad was it? And I remember it being bad, and it's bad, but it's really bad, especially in comparison to this film 20 years later. This movie understands you need to get to the scares quickly, you need to get to this house quickly, and really about maybe 5 to 7 minutes in, it was about 5 minutes, you already see a ghost. Rosario Dawson and her son in this movie, they already run out of the house. But it has a really good gimmick in how it keeps people in the house. That I liked. And that's how this ragtag group of people come together and they're in the house trying to figure out, one, how to escape, but also how to help the ghosts inside. Jared Leto plays Alistair Crump, who is the Hatbox Ghost in this one. They give him a backstory. And I will say this, they do a lot of show rather than just tell. They do show and tell, but they don't just tell, they actually show. So I like how they show a lot of the background story on some of these characters, but also on Jared Leto's Alistair Crump character. So you understand kind of what he's doing. Surprise! There's a moment where they try to overcomplicate it just a little bit. They include a little MacGuffin in there that they need to find to help them with helping these ghosts. And it was a little bit interesting, but it felt like this side quest that I didn't need to necessarily see. There was nothing that came from it that was all that interesting. There are a few cameos in this one. If you've seen the final trailer, you might have seen them already. But one, I was like, wait, is that who that is? Oh, that's cool. It was actually kind of a fun one. But nothing that's like going to blow your socks off or like, whoa, I can't believe they were in this. That's not what it was for me, but it was just nice to see certain faces show up in this movie. So I thought that was neat. All in all, this is a horror movie for the whole family. There are some creepy moments. It does get pretty dark, but at no point are the jump scares gonna really scare your kid, in my opinion. There's a lot of kids in my advanced screening, and none of them really like were screaming or yelling or anything like that. There was a couple that were like running back and forth to the bathroom, but that was annoying. But anybody really could watch this movie. Also, one other item I think is worth noting. This movie is almost a soft love letter to New Orleans, Bourbon Street, all that kind of stuff. There's a big essence of New Orleans in this movie, which I thought was really great. It doesn't overdo it. It doesn't lightly do it either. So like the 2003 version, which you would have never known that was in New Orleans, and the way that they go about that movie is very much an adaptation. But in this one, you definitely feel that it's rooted in New Orleans. Even though they could have done more stuff outside of the mansion to kind of highlight that even more, I thought they did an okay job where you understood the setting, you understood what was happening, and you definitely feel the culture within the film. The last thing I want to say, though, is I enjoyed that this was just a straight Disney film. It had people of color, which I thought was great. It didn't feel like it needed to cater to one side or the other when it came to its story. There's no identity politics throughout this story. Nothing. The kid has issues at school. The kid has issues making friends. LaKeith Stanfield has issues connecting to people, and he kind of grows into connecting with people because of this ragtag group, which I thought was great. And it has kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy quality to it, because these are all just random people that come together with a common issue and they end up becoming friends. That part I thought was really cool. So they do a good job here. Disney has a really good one on its hands, but I think it might falter a little bit because it does feel like it could just be on Disney Plus. I thought they took some really great moments from the actual Haunted Mansion ride and incorporated it into this movie really well. They were very imaginative with how they show the ghost world in this mansion within this movie. Thought that was great as well. But again, there's moments where it just doesn't feel like it needs to be seen on the big screen. So while I would say go watch it so you show Disney what they need to make more of, then yes, check it out. Go pay for it. Otherwise, you might just want to wait for Disney Plus because it doesn't necessarily feel like it is an event film or needs to be seen on the biggest screen that you can watch it on. The story is great. The characters overall are good. Mainly LaKeith Stanfield and Chase Dillon as Travis. Those are the two best in my eye. Rosario Dawson, beautiful, love her. She's good, but she is, again, a side character. She doesn't get much to do here like some of the other characters. But those are my 2 cents. Let me know what you think of the movie after you see it. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I think it's a good one from Disney. Let's see how it does at the box office. Check out the other videos I got for you guys here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.